Back at it, LiveWire Film Reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing A Quiet Place. The film centers on a man and a wife protecting their children from creatures that detect sound. The pros of this film happens to be everybody involved. John Krasinski does a beautiful job directing. Not only is he co-writing, but he also directs it with some gusto. I think this is his third directorial project, and you can tell that really focusing in on the drama aspect of this film. This is mostly a suspense horror film, but it is filled with dramatic roles. This is a mother and a father protecting their children from creatures that attack when they detect sound. There is some very dramatic scenes that play into this film. Not only is this film just tense, taut, suspenseful, this film just brings a lot of emotional depth. You don't get too much time with these characters. Again, this is a post-apocalyptic world where there's families that are neighboring in this remote area, but they can't communicate with each other simply because these creatures detect sound, and there are 3 creatures that they know of that are in the area. Beginning of this film is completely silent, and I think that you get caught up in the rapture. I think most of the time the film calls for its audience to be completely silent as well. I mean, it just puts you into this world and you just are caught up with it. I mean, this is people that communicate through sign language. I believe their daughter in the film is deaf. That's how they communicate with one another. There's a scene that's very brutal early on. You can only imagine the horror that comes from these creatures simply because they can detect the faintest of sounds. On your edge of the seat, kind of suspense, and this film just thrives on that. And I thought that for the majority of this film, it deals well with both the suspense and the drama. Real life chemistry between Emily Blunt and John Krasinski, because they are husband and wife, and so they work well with each other. Again, people's misconception with John Krasinski is this guy comes from The Office. What was this guy that is known for his comedic sitcom role? What does he know about, horror, and what does he have to bring? You got to remember, this guy also did this film 13 Hours, which was a gritty crime drama set in Benghazi. So I mean, we've already known John Krasinski's range, so I think he wants to step it up as far as his directorial stance is. I think Emily Blunt has these very touching moments. She is pregnant in the film. I'm going to touch a little bit on some setbacks, almost like these gaping plot holes that could become cons in this film. It's just that a very troublesome notion of this film is that, yes, Emily Blunt's character is pregnant in this film. Why are you going to bring a child into this world where there are creatures that detect the faintest of sounds? I mean, the childbirth alone is a process that is just troublesome to begin with. You're going to be out with a bunch of sound because the baby's going to come out screaming and crying. How are we going to get around this issue? I think that they give you the setup that Krasinski's character is prepared for this. He has this kind of underground chamber space that has this kind of soundproofing. That aspect is kind of far-fetched, but it has some kind of explanation as to how they're going to get around this situation, how they're going to get around this scenario. There are some touching moments between Krasinski and the son as well. The son's very scared in this world, where the daughter's she shows a lot of bravery. She has, she's deaf, so her other senses work, stronger. I think that the scenes between him and his son are very endearing. There's something that happens earlier on in the film where the son kind of confronts his dad about, having this reservation about his daughter, not loving her as much as he should, trying to tell his son that he will never stop loving his daughter and that he doesn't blame her for anything. There's just that really touching moments that happen in between the suspense and terror that you really get caught up in it. I mean, there's like a lot of scary moments in this film, but as soon as the scares happen, there's something that is it gets at your heartstrings. It is very endearing. There's these moments, these monologues that happen between Emily Blunt and Krasinski that just work well. I mean, it gets you to tears sometimes. And then the scares happen. I don't want to delve too deep into this film because I don't want to give away any of the aspect of the film itself, but I can tell you this. It's one of the most heart-endearing, heart-pounding, suspenseful dramas that I ever seen on screen, and job well done to Krasinski and company. Emily Blunt, the two young actors in this film. I can see a future that's bright for those two. This happens to be one of my favorite films of this year, and I have yet to give a full-fledged 5. So with this, I'm gonna have to give A Quiet Place its full-fledged 5. I thought this was a very good film. Go watch this film, I implore you. Even with its very gaping kind of far-fetchiness, I think that this film is a winner. And I think you can easily overlook those and say, hey, this is a movie. These are the scenarios that play out, and just watch it and enjoy. This is Peter Man, what's up? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to keep watching our reviews, and be sure to be a fan of LiveWire Film Reviews. Have yourself a wonderful day.